Hello, people. So today introduction is about traveling around the world. So what is happening is that when you go around the world, it's going to be happening unexpected happenings to you by all type of populace due to the fact that you have different cultures, thugs, and similar people, gangs, exceedingly poor people, means impoverished people who are at most times guilty themselves to be that way because they live that type of life. They try to be something and then they try to put their terrible life and their uneducated life and at the same time miserable life onto others or behave a certain way pretending being something, and then you ask why they are that way. So if you are traveling around the world abroad, any person who maybe decides to travel abroad, such as those who might be prefer more any other country than their country of citizenship, and they think that they are going to have so good or great time with all the folks around. You know, these days this isn't anymore as it used to be. That people can just have a good time with their happiness or being honest and have an honest life, because most of the people actually are criminals. And I have experienced that by the people from the authorities who are criminals, people from the people itself, and most of them are very miserable people. Actually, they're all miserable, those. And those are the people who are never happy. Doesn't matter how much they have, how much maybe they have even billions, millions, and doesn't matter. Still, they're that type of people. They are just ready to do bad things, you know. They just can accept it when somebody is better than them. And in this case, I'm just trying to explain you. I just So from my perspective, it's the best if you travel within your country of your citizenship, such as such as in this case, let's say if your country is exceedingly big or extremely big country, then it's better to travel within it if you can travel, or in the event it should appear that you have the ability to travel within it. For example, we are very discriminated. This type of the way the blacks used to explain their black history, but blacks actually they do most of them they do serious terrible crimes as terrorists. Could be at that day or those days was that way, could be, but these days isn't so much that way. It's most of them who are doing bad things at all times. And I'm not saying there are not any other people who are doing. You are going to see many. As I said, traveling abroad is not anymore the best idea. But if you want, or in any case that you think that's going to be, let's say, safe, or people are very, very unhappy. They always what they do, they want something to steal from you, grab from you, do bad things to others, and it doesn't matter how much you work for something, or even if they owe you a lot. Their case is always how to just grab from you all the time. Take, steal. It's never, it's not about okay, let's do something. Let's raise something what we owe him or something. No, especially for certain cultures, they would no. All what they do, they just keep coming to just use you or something. They're that type of people, you know. You know, mostly you cannot see anyone that. Most you cannot see people that they would do something for you, or maybe stand up with the way it was for the Jesus, to stand up and do the right thing, No, very, very difficult that could happen. It can occasionally, but at most times you're gonna just see criminals and very bad people. And I just want to warn you before you are going elsewhere and travel somewhere that the things are not anymore as used to be back in the days. Maybe that you can just travel and have a good time or something, because the people are just not anymore the same. So my 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 opinion is that the biggest problems you're gonna face with the impoverished countries, you know, especially when you're successful, that time people get strange, they have the feeling of even disrespect to themselves because they are such a low class of because they are very lazy and they're miserable itself, and then they all of the time they just do bad things to someone. But I want to tell you, there are a few countries, for example, let's say for an example, China. China is as a big country, and you are going to have all type of people who are nice and people who could be so terribly that you would not even believe it, right? But lots of people they have miserable lives in China, something that you don't know. What I'm not trying to say anything in this case because everybody love their movies, but movies are movies, and then you are going to experience those who behave as in Japan in English, or in Japan, because Japanese people they have certain behaviors when you go to their grocery stores or to any bars, but usually at the grocery stores. And this is how even Chinese people occasionally they can actually behave, and maybe even many times those who have that type of values. But the truth about all the traveling or something is just not the way you think. If it's happening in the country that is one of the considered the best country, now it's up to you to experience all of that and to see whether it's the best country or it might be the best only when you are maybe on the cross or wounded so badly that it's actually that's how they made you, So that in this case nothing better could be, right? But you have yourself to experience which countries are the best, because there is something you don't really know how happy life many people live and why certain people are the happiest people. It doesn't matter, if you understand. But for example, China can be very difficult for you to travel. Here are happening all type of things, and between them there are those who are maybe Indonesia, maybe Greenland, maybe any Russians or natives or some, but now you never know, or Native Americans. They all pretend who knows what, and they try to set up one or another, you know. So there are very difficult things about that. So the most difficult probably you are going to face in black countries or African countries, especially Caribbeans can be very, very miserable. And anyone can be type of happy when when they drink alcohol, but in real life they are very unhappy people. So what I want to say at the same time, just a second, let me just I have to switch off this heater here. It's a proof. It's my heater, the blue one. Is the proof of how even warm it is here. But I want to tell you This is how the people are actually, just this way. It's a proof. But what I want to explain it more, Australia has other difficulties. Because again, Muslim people are very terrible people, and you're going to face even nice people. I have faced also them even nice, especially in Europe, from certain countries, very nice, and then they turn out to be from those countries that they are very terrible here. Imagine how it could be there in their places then. So personally, lots of Serbs can be terrible now if you're successful because they want them to grab that they become something smarter. And then you're going to see even here, living here in a country where the law should be obeyed, even when you give an oath to the queen, at the time now to the king. Imagine even obeying God, how harder is that? As Jesus Christ is King of Kings. And in this case, you understand why God is good, right? And what else that means to be. But America, at the same time, can be a very difficult country to travel. It's not anymore those. They have nice places. Lots of people don't have any issues with it when they travel because type of they are lucky maybe at the time, to they are playing a lottery, and when they are traveling through those states and everything is fine. But usually, lots of difficulties you can face during that time. But you have lots of actors and so on about that, but which is very nice otherwise. But there are places which could be very terrible, and their misery they can keep taking on you, and especially when you are a champion, and then the results go down because they can never accomplish it. It doesn't matter how much they try, because only God in that can accomplish a real emperor, the rest no, and so on. And then they're gonna keep coming, taking from you all the time. As I said, these days very difficult is actually to travel to the Caribbean countries and to especially Cuba and so on. If you understand this type of time, yes. And to the black countries, such as African countries, could be very terrible. And the same people they do bad things even in this kind of type of developed countries. Because of them, it's all a mess. Such as in America, because of them and so on. But they are not the only ones who do that, but mostly they are those people who are. And then you have, as I said, China. It could be very difficult sometimes, and sometimes can be okay. But there you're gonna face lots of difficulties, in China, especially India. India can be a disaster to you if you are not used to that. In Pakistan and this type of thing. These are the people who live in type of primitive life. They have nice people from them as well. I have seen people who can be so nice it can be even better than any other people, but this in these last years is more as a terrorism behavior. And I have to tell you that you are ready. I mean, that you know where are you going, because sometimes it's better even not to go somewhere instead to feel terrible on your vacation because of them, because they are misery. And you don't owe them nothing. For example, in this case, they only owe somebody all the time everything, but they're the type of people they're going even at all times going online and asking for the food, money all the time. What we didn't ask even when we were hungry because of others how much they stole in the fridge. And we never wanted to, unless when they invited us before, but never again we don't, then when I, because they don't invite you for the truly they just link out to destroy your life or to damage your career and to become something out of you and to use you for that job what is 50 billion a year and trillions what is stolen and plus what this was but this what I don't want to explain this one is hard if you can find more about nuance and what they owe everything what they're supposed to pay, but those people all the time they are beggars, most of them, and especially those are the most important because they always pretend they give them the most They always just pretend and ask, give me money, food, this. Huh. There are lots of people who can do that, but they didn't. They just been with Jesus, and they even suffered a lot because of others, because these others, they just grab, and take. And anywhere you go, they would just keep coming because they're so material. Most of them, you can see materialism the way they. So mostly what you have to be aware of is India. If you're going to experience them when you travel there, then you're going to be surprised. I mean, those are countries that are pretty beautiful, but and big. But maybe if you are from developed countries or something more educated and not primitive, not any terrorism, tax, and so on, then it's not going to be easy for you. India can be very difficult, especially Africans in Africa or the Caribbean. Those, for example, Caribbeans, they have a few nice countries, but the way they, is very terrible. Then Muslims, especially, even if you go to Indonesia, which is very high class as a country, even considered as a safety and all that, but lots of them they behave nice, but the way they do things lots of times can be totally strange. For example, when I go to Thailand, it's going to be pretty good, but even there they started to do certain things because of others, tourists and so on. It's when it's tourist adultery, this that, when tourist comes and their drugs, this. In the Bible is explained, separate from drunkards, addicts, liars, idolaters, and so on. This is the reason why this problem is. And so then Russia, for example, can be pretty good, but the problem Russia, maybe it could be violent sometimes in a way that you don't understand that violence. Maybe it can be violent because you grew up maybe more a very developed country, a very strict country that if you do something that way, you are right away in prison or maybe out from school or who knows what. But here now they do all type of things that you wouldn't believe. At that time, people, if they would do certain things, they would be kicked out from the school and put in a school which were a crazy people, for the schools for the crazy people or not normal people who cannot even start, they are messed up. And but here is all normal that because they allow that to be, and most of the people who immigrated are actually terrorists. You have to know the law, why, what is terrorism, everything to understand why that is. And that is the reason. So, for example, in Serbia, lots of people who go there, they feel much better than in many very developed countries. Because first you have to have basic respect, the way you do things in life. Because if you don't have that one, it's going to be difficult. Serbia, of course, for certain cultures is not good because Serbs, they want to just steal somebody. You understand. But for many cultures, Serbia is very, very nice. And for example, Philippines is very nice, but Philippines, you can face sometimes such a terrible problems that you are going to be surprised. Even I was type of almost shocked. Mada, I experienced them very many times because they want to be with you. They want to be with miracle, this to become successful. And then they try to damage your life because they are all misery and they come here for the reason of poverty. Everyone can see, and the way they behave, those who behave that way, you can see that is a terrorism. Those people were in serious prison for as a Salvadorian and so on. But Salvadorians are much better the people when it comes to that. I can explain you. You're gonna experience them if you're gonna live somewhere because of people as those. So many difficulties you can face. For example, Italy can be pretty okay, but sometimes even there, if you are successful, can be a little bit difficult this day, but before no. But all depends when. But of course, always would be a problem there. But in Italy there are lots of schemes, lots of that, and lots of people even in Asia sometimes they do schemes, and then you think everything nice, then they rip you a big time. Then you say, oh man, then it's too late. You have to be careful. Not everything that looks too nice is a friendship. Could be not. You know. So the difficult countries, as I'm trying to explain you, undeveloped countries and impoverished countries can be very, very difficult. For example, Australia is pretty nice, but in Australia, lots of people are also messed up these days, who are blaming everybody else for their poverty. Mother life in Australia could be very good. It's just they messed up the system, the same as in this country, because of this type of tax, what means terrorism, is all messed up in Canada itself. And the same thing in Australia, it could be even worse sometimes, except for Jesus, if you get it, what I'm talking about. King of kings, emperor, higher rank than king, and what is an emperor? And why? Because they've never been successful. Or something you don't understand which countries are for you, and maybe which countries are really rich, or maybe which are happy countries, or on the end, my opinion is that the best for anybody would be where they are cities, where they have citizenship and travel to those countries, and then countries or country depends what they have. But even Canada, it became a disaster because of these crimes. This kind of they try to take over something that you worked for. you know, when you're supposed to be the richest for paid quadrillions of dollars, what is true actually. Even one lady, Portuguese, who maybe was a twin, but or not, but she was saying something about quadrillion. I was saying, well, what are you talking about? Who is for the quadrillion? And then it was actually true that somebody really accomplished that, and they didn't want to raise, and that could be understandable. Usually, because it's a lot, who's going to be, people who, how people are. But what they own is 176 trillion US dollars, and they say, how comes that? Well, when you find more about this, about somebody talking to you at the present time, then you will understand what they actually owe somebody and how much. And then you will understand what the worst is about that, because they keep coming, they keep forcing themselves to talk to you, to this. Okay, those who sit normal and is fine, but always they create a problem somewhere just to conversation, and they are really sick in the head, people. They don't know how to even approach a person, most of them. And you can see that they aren't educated, they are probably prisoners, the way you can, most of them. But it's going to be difficult. I'm just saying, you're going to face problems, even in Australia. But in Australia can be pretty okay, but this is why you maybe go to the outback or something, because it's messed up. So because of those impoverished people who came, and those who just want to invade and take over something that they didn't work for. And for example, now Africans, they're doing that all the time here, but not just them, but mostly. And what I want to tell you, traveling abroad is not really a safe thing, or a safe the way people think. I'm not saying I don't know which countries I would really recommend you if you want to travel, but I think where you have your citizenship, there is the best to travel. If you want the rest, if you want, is also fine. But if you're not protected really, really, then maybe you are going to have big expenses, and you don't want to be around the people that are not successful, such as people even not supportive. Always they're going to be just begging you money all the time for nothing, just because they even here they get all the luxuries for themselves. Other people who really supposed to be nothing, just for them. They're egoists, it's not even that they're hungry, they're just egoists, people who just grab, grab, grab all the time. The best is in the synagogue, what I mean. So in this case, I want to tell you, there is no really safe place anymore to travel, all that. Safe place doesn't mean just someone trying to kill you the way they do it here or something. Not just that. But safe place in the case of these other things, oh, you have to have a dog, but the dog could be $2,000, could be $4,000, or has to be professionally trained extra, and if you understand. So why would you have something you don't want to have just because of them? And plus, feeding this, feeding that, good quality of, I mean, having good things. The best is actually to have a car and a gun and to go somewhere, to the wilderness. But then in wilderness, you face another problems. Could be even worse than this because unexpectedly something can jump on you and what, you know, and that's the problem. And even that, maybe you're not gonna get always that one. You're gonna get maybe a shotgun, but mostly they should give you. But still, I'm just explaining it as a wall. Instead to live with where the roads are, where normal roads are, asphalt and all that. With that, you're gonna put yourself in maybe even in a bigger danger. So it's not the best idea to travel into other countries around the globe, except if they would give you a gun, what is very difficult. That not even for the greatest emperor ever, who accomplished the biggest inventions and all military training that's worth trillions of dollars, and together it's called and they didn't want to give not even the country of citizenship. What about you know this is the way alliance is stealing from me practically. If you understand, 1.7 trillion a year plus 150 trillion first time minimum, because but even we are 100 times better, and so on. It's hard to explain. They're going to be sexually raping people who are successful, and this other their misery. They want to destroy your health, and because they're all unhealthy, and all their life is such a mess and unhealthiness. Mother, imagine if you would have all that what they are giving them, everything easy, you would be probably more than happy. But these people are made this way to be unhappy, like their misery. Like I don't know, they steal all the time. Now, professional, I tell you, if you're a citizen of Canada, a Canadian citizen, Canuck citizen, then you probably for you is the best idea to travel around Canada. Whether they deserve it or not, you have to experience them, and you can tell me then. You don't have to just believe in this other thing. Better believe me what I tell you. I'm just telling you that you open your eyes a little bit. If you're citizens here, you travel around Canada and maybe elsewhere if you can be protected, and because these days is strange. Protection doesn't only mean that one what you think, maybe only a bullet. It's not just that, there are many other things. You don't want to date those, you don't want to, but you're forced to date, you're talk to them, you're forced to marriages all the time. They do that for 18 years, but they started with Muslim, and that is like a ring. It never stops. Even police officers were doing this with even security guards, especially from India, China, sometimes Asians they do, but not always, but India and Ukraine, that type of people, they do that all the time. And previous Yugoslavian people, they're setting up, especially Serbs and Bosnians. These people all the time, they have marriages and they're material, they always want to, Nikola Tesla and so on, what they try to do. So, and then they're going to be destroying your life practically only if you don't want to get married with their, and then the London, they want to London, up and down there. It's all in crime. Everywhere they work, in a good place, bad place, here, there, crime, everywhere. You wouldn't believe. So I want to tell you, where you live, where you have your documents, travel there. if you can be protected that something doesn't happen, maybe it's gonna be too late, or maybe can really affect you better than you don't travel around until you are ready, even financially, and even you have to have protective services, and at the same time have to be armed. If you don't have these basic needs, what have to be for your safety, then it's not going to be what you expect. I mean, you don't want to spend a lot of money and then say, oh, they damage all my vacation. Look how bad people. Yeah, well, that's what God said. Exactly. And that is true. So try to do your best, do what you prefer to do. I'm telling you in advance that even if you come here into my city here, you will see that something is not okay with them at most times. But if they always call it crisis, but those are excuses. They always are like that. Those are people who are misery. They always blame others for, you know. I mean, they do. As I said, criminals, they work everywhere. That is one part of it. But then their drugs, their addiction, their debt, and all that, and prostitution and all type of things, sexual trafficking, and then they blame other people, of course, for that. It's their fault. Even we know the criminals, they work everywhere, so they're damaging lives of the people always, instead to be nice for the people because you are paid from the people as well. And God created all things what they're supposed to pay. And I'm trying to tell you now, but they're stealing, even for hunting, they're stealing $94 billion a year somewhere, depends all the time, instead to be the way it's supposed to be. And it's all about interest. Then it's not really just because of their guilt or something, but it's as well for the just interest, just grab, grab, grab. So you can go around. I mean, Thailand probably wouldn't be bad if you want, but whether you're going to be really comfortable, that I cannot guarantee you because now it changed everywhere, even in Japan or in Japan. That time was exceedingly good when people used to give, you know, uh, not give as a money respect type of how respect is. So people come to spend. It's not that they're going to be taking there or something. That they were very polite, kind of very welcoming, but actually in real life, when you live in this city, then you ask how it could be there now when here is a disaster what is happening. That means it's not let's say if you go to Republika Srpska, where is a country, or in other words, Andel big, but actually supposed to be a country because why did people fight or they fought in war for the things what I can see actually what is the problem now, why they fought. You don't want to be with Muslim people because first of all, is a difference, and second, they really sexual rape and forced marriages. And I don't want to insult anyone, but really is true. Forced marriages, they create a problem with this forced marriage, dating. All the time, something you don't want. No one asks you for any dating or something. You're just throwing onto somebody, and then the way they behave, they are sexually abused, what they do. It's hard to explain. You have to go through that in order to understand. Yeah, these are the countries I would not prefer people to actually, if they want to be really live with them as a normal life, to travel through Muslim countries, not to travel through to Caribbean certain places. What I don't want now to criticize anybody is up to you. I just tell you in advance that you know what is going to be happening. And if they get to know you a little bit, then they're not going to leave you alone because there's some material, and this is why they come to Canada or US, and then they see that actually here is something else. Then they're gonna be surprised what is here. And then they do crimes because how else they're gonna make money, something to live, to survive, to eat something normal, practically, and plus grab for free. That's all they do. So maybe Europe wouldn't be bad to travel to certain places where people are as a better for the safety or more welcoming or something. But times change, so I don't want you to actually misunderstand the life, but the life is good. Life is love, and that is not adultery love as they think, or any material marriages has to be equally young. And material people, they always love somebody, but actually they don't love you at all. They just want to rob you. And marriages and dating and you know and acting something always. And my thing is, for example, if you live in America, for the Americans, the best, you know, who live in America, to live there if they live already there. If they settle there, mostly let them live there and they can travel all around America. For them, I would never recommend them to travel around. Maybe sometimes just to see maybe 1-2 days somewhere, just fast something. Oh, I have been in Italy, or I have been in Poland or something. You say, that means as a you see it a little bit, but to go around really, you're going to be surprised. So if you live in Canada, the best is if you go around Canada, and maybe one day too somewhere just pass and go home, right? Because there's certain things you don't understand what's going to be happening after. Those are people who are not there for you. There's always grab, 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 and always they just try to destroy something and take something. Vietnam, I'm not sure. Vietnam could be maybe very nice to travel and be, but you never know. Sometimes it's that, sometimes it's gossip, sometimes okay. Supposed to be okay, Vietnam, but you never know. I mean, Asians, they change. It's not anymore what it used to be. For example, one restaurant, Wok restaurant, something. Those are the people who are probably from China, maybe many different cultures. They work with them, and anything is possible. This is Canada, right? It can be very nice, all that, but in real life, there are difficulties, and it's not just culture. People say culture, but how comes? What about before? So it's not that. It's not. It has something to do with big success. It has to be, and you never know when you are going to be. This is why you cannot predict the future. But I'm telling you that in the near future or later in life what are you going to experience because of that. Let's say impoverished people or people itself, they just bring problems. And there are those maybe who are nice as well, of course. But it's hard to find those. Usually you're going to get usually the worst. And because that type of situation it is. Like it's different if they pay what they owe you, all that, then you have a choice even to find, or you can fly around and find something if you want, to have normal friends or something, or who knows what. But like this, you have no choice because all the worst is going to be coming to you. And maybe between them many nice people too. But for example, someone wants to stare at you and stare at you in an abusive way, and other people do it different way, as they did there when I went to eat somewhere to one center on Dundas and Queen. I mean Dundas and Young, and someone knew how to, whether what he was doing, I don't know, but he knew how to, do it the smart way in order not to be abusive. And but other people, especially blacks, and that they abuse people by the way they're so material. They abuse people by, they are the way they do things, even when they don't want to abuse, they do abusive things because they're so material. And always they're looking what other people are doing instead of to look at what they are doing. Always they're looking what you are doing, and then think about why someone is the most successful. Yeah, if people would be looking what other people are doing, then of course they will never be successful. They will be just sitting down and, you know, uh, looking what other people are doing. Rekla kazala, they would say those in Yugoslavia. Instead to do things, gossip, right? So for now, let's say if you live in Japan in English, or Japan by them, Japan, the best is to travel around Japan. And then when you can afford all these things, what I'm trying to explain, and then it's different. Then, Putin is traveling with, what I want to tell you. So then, of course, because it's something that you don't understand. You know, you don't want to get sickness, you don't want to get this, because all of that comes from them, from these bad, those bad people, you know, who are, because of them comes everything. Even if they work at the hospitals, it comes from them because those are the bad people between them, and everything comes just bad from them. I have never seen any good that come from them. So you have to be careful even for yourself, your health, and all that, because those are the people who are worse than any prisoners. You know, even if they are nice like this, but they have this other terrorism things that is worse than any prisoners. So we'll just, you know, in America, the prisoners are much better than those. At least they have the understanding of Jesus Christ, a better way of doing things, right? And repentance and all that. So it's hard. If it's hard in Canada, it's very difficult. Then I don't know how good it could be going there between them when they live there in their own country, but not foreigners when they came here into my country here. And what they do here, that means there, who knows what you do would pack you probably in a container, you know, if you understand. So that law as a justice court, something, what court here, 18 years plus the war stream before other things, death cross this, you know, and here it's not, it's, believe me, traveling is not anymore recommended from my side. And why would even people make money from your traveling when they don't respect the great things what was given and created for all and paid for their sins? That you have to be smart. Then you say, okay, travel just where your country is. That is a situation. Maybe they deserve, maybe they're not. But most times they don't deserve. I know that. We all experience that, you know. But until you can at least, you know, have all that protection that I'm saying, that basic respect that you should have, any normal person who doesn't do bad things, if they don't respect those things, ATC and so on and so, especially for the successor who really need, even for many other people who don't need so much, but anytime can happen something, that means they don't respect you. They just grab yours. So why would you travel to those places who are that way? And plus, they didn't even race for the greatest things. So what they think about you then? You know. So my opinion is that just to travel where you live until the new Christ country becomes a new country, because those countries don't deserve actually to bring the money for something that they're just working. They didn't make things that would deserve respect. And plus the way they treat the greatest. So what respect do they need? But at the same time, I'm telling you more about your safety, more your happiness, unhappiness, health especially, and all those things, and that you are not forced into marriage. This you're gonna experience lots of things. So this is why my opinion is, you know, the worst is that like they keep going after you, looking at you, and then you keep receiving things. Oh, they're raising money for food. And you know there is lots of food to eat, just to eat, not to nice food. You know, many people wouldn't want to even eat that because they eat healthy way. Let's say in the Balkans, something they don't want to even eat those things. Many people. This is why they steal lots of people. You know, they sell drugs or kind. They don't want to eat that type of things. But for people who are type of appreciated, somehow it can be okay. But for sport people, that's not too good. But you know what? If it wouldn't be abused, you probably would be okay too, a little bit for even that one. But yeah, I want to explain it. Just it's not anymore what you think. So I personally, I'll do my best to not travel to the places. You know, if they would raise what they owe me, all that, I would. But unarmed, I wouldn't want to travel, even if, because what is the point? You know, it's like a type of Caesar thing, if you understand, and doesn't make sense, right? If you understand, even in the whole country, right? So I can have this one here, if you understand, if it's without It's the same thing. So then I stay here this way, then, and this is how I stay. Like Commissar Rex, Ume, you know. And then you say, what about that? What is that? I mean, if you understand, but it's not that way. That's not really the way it's supposed to work. But what I want to explain at the same time that now you have the ability to understand the human mind. You know, people love to do bad things in a sense of we know lots of people. Maybe they really support, maybe they pretend. I don't know, but in real life, people don't want you to be successful from your work. They want them to be successful out of your work. And they want to steal what you accomplish. They want to damage what you accomplish. And they don't want you to have firearm, even when everybody know that you're supposed to have a concealed ATC for the imminent threat between 2 months in US or military personnel is supposed to have, those who have the biggest rank of emperor because those are the best condition trainings. No steroids and all those people who go online, they pretend something, but actually we are winners. So, and then they're gonna even persecute it the way Australia said for the health. If you have healthcare, if you're the best for healthcare, then you are in serious problem. That is exactly what is happening. And health is 50 billion a year here, you know. And they use me already more than 15 years. Now it's going to be 16 years. And that is a lot. How much money they owe me just for the healthcare? And now I'm trying to explain you why. For Putin is one thing are similar people who have all those, you know, protective services, cars, and so many cars around that, you know, and plus they're armed. I mean, you know, no one can even come close to you, so you don't have to worry about the dog or those uh, taking care of dog or looking about your dog. Maybe sometimes you are going to look more about your dog than yourself because Belgian Malinois, he can be okay. They have good dogs, but you have to look at a dog is pooing something, is leaving poo somewhere, and you know all the time probably you're gonna pick. There are lots of things you have to do something, or other people have to pick. Still, lots of work to do about that. If you don't have a land where is grass, then what type of dog? I mean, here lots of people they have dogs. They can't even take care about themselves. I mean, you have a dog when you can take care about yourself as well, not just protecting, but you know yourself. You have also to. That is the point. You have to have a lot, even for a dog these days, in order to be everything perfect. You can just have a dog that other people are going to be feeding your dog. And these people taking everything, make even kids that we take care about, and they steal our food in my fridge. Instead to raise what they always they keep stealing, taking, destroying. And this is what is happening. So this is why traveling is not anymore what you think. Maybe, well, look, what is happening actually is people who are drunkards, addicts, and this for them is perfect anywhere they go when it comes to that because they are addicts, you know, they are addicts. They come here downstairs or who knows where, you know. They were doing things that you would I mean, for them can be nice everywhere, you know, because addict is an addict. He many times he's happy during the time of drugs or who knows, and then later on misery and paranoia, you know. And then again when they get so for them it's okay all the world because for them this you know but for people as myself or similar but as myself they can never be because I know that why and they can understand they will understand why when they understand the life better but people who don't smoke cigarettes people who don't use drugs people who don't drink alcohol and don't use medications or these things that, who have who are real doctors who cure who this who heal things, you know, from God through God and for this type of people it's going to be very difficult these days to travel around because you don't want to be around people as those, you know. Always they're going to be coming mostly bad people And mostly people who just try to rob you, a phone or looking what you made, all the time somebody else's business, but they're going to be stealing, and keep talking about what you have, what you bought, how much you spend. I mean, these are things that are such a primitivism that you don't want to be even around them at most times. But I'm not trying to say or judge that each person is this way, but at most cases is this way. So if you want to travel, don't expect to be nice the way you think, because it's not going to be. The reality is that it's not going to be. Lots of people, or a large number of population, would say they have a shocking culture, but it's not a culture, because I experienced them before as well. No, they're criminals, thugs, organized crime. They work in nice places. They could be even governors of the country. They could be doctors. They could be anybody. They work in a places that you would never think. They are serious criminals. I mean, they're pedophiles and pedophilia. You wouldn't believe so much what is happening. Now, I'm not saying this person, that person, that. You have to go through all that to understand what I'm talking about. You can go to the churches. You will be surprised. Go to the churches. Just I recommend you to try, do your best not to go, and to go to the right church. But if you want to really go, I would not prefer to go to the church which is made by hands. But if you want, you can, and let me know after 10, 15 years, 20 years, what is going to be happening and what is going on, and what is fake believing or not, and you're going to experience all that. While they are going to get all the best things inside, everybody helping, and from you, they're going to keep stealing, and it's not made by hands and so on. And then you are going to say, but that is really the way it was that time. Threw it from the table, all that. So now is the time that you understand those times when the life was unsuccessful in a way to people didn't see yet that lots of people, they knew it was going to be the greatest, but I mean, lots of people, a few people, they mentioned it already. But that is by your attitude, the way you live life. People see and they understand. Those smart people who have the vision of God, they understand this is going to be great, and really became that way. But as I say, if you don't smoke marijuana and not do heavy drugs, if you don't drink alcohol, and if you don't smoke cigarettes, these are the things that you are not going to fit within them because you don't want to be around them. But even if you are around them, maybe you are sitting somewhere, you're going to face lots of problems because those are people who have misery, and they are there to do bad things or maybe to behave as well strange because they think that is happiness and something, but actually they're very unhappy. They don't understand. Like, you can see their unhappiness. For example, I went somewhere to eat because I didn't want to be a beggar. Something they offer nice somewhere, the Chinese, you know. But I experienced Chinese, all type of things. You have to see it yourself. But then I didn't want to be a beggar, so I said, let me order. I didn't want to order anything. And then I saw that meal it was similar to something what my Maika made when I was on a train, when I traveled through Montenegro to Sutomore, from the city to Sutomore. It was around half an hour, and that train was really old-fashioned. And it was very enjoyable for me, and I ate that schnitzel that was made not really as regular schnitzel in Austria, which is good, but this one was perfect. The way she made such a juicy, such a perfect that you wouldn't believe how I ate it with that bread and what she put around, maybe salsa. I already forgot. I was very young. It was exceedingly good. And then when I ate this one from this wok Chinese, I didn't want to eat. I just didn't want to be a beggar them because they were nice, and then I wanted to give type of respect. Okay, let me order something. I don't want to try anything. Just let me order, and I ordered it. Even I didn't want, but then I ordered because just to give type of respect. And I ordered a meal that was the most basic thing, and it was amazing. Why? It was made like this that you could eat it without a water or without a drink. And if you can do that and the food can be okay, that means that is okay food. Just the onion, I had to separate when I saw the oil, but I could separate it easy, so I didn't have problem with that. But then I remembered it that food when there were breaded chicken something. It was similar as chicken. I don't know. That was then I remembered it was similar as my mic I used to make, but it wasn't the same. My mic I made much better. But here is Canada. In Canada, they have this type of style, the way they make food. So for here in Canada, that one was really, really nice. But I could notice it right away that was a Chinese food, because I know right away when it's Chinese food. Now, whether they were Chinese or not, they have different cultures between them, but I was thinking maybe it's a Korean there too, because Korean, a few minutes they make this way too, type of more healthier. And then I said, but the way they behave is as in Japan or Japan. But then who there doesn't even matter. They could be even Myanmar, Philippines. That doesn't matter. It's not about that. I noticed right away that must be a Chinese, Chinese. But the way they behaved, it looked more to me as Japan, to be honest. And as Koreans, the way food it was, the way the food was made. And it was amazing for me, and I didn't want to regret it. Even I didn't want to spend the day money for that, and not even I didn't even prepare to spend something that day or something. No, I really didn't want. I just wanted to see a little bit there how it's made because they are making new something there for the ballrooms. As a ballroom they are going to have. So I wanted to see whether they made and what restaurants they made now new one because they were renovating something and closing something. So I didn't know what is going on. So that was an amazing meal for me, to be honest. And now I remember. Yes, I remember I said about my Micah made something similar. She made much better, but maybe it's better quality of this. Who knows? I don't know, but she made really much. Uh, as my Micah, no one ever made something as that way, but they made it similar. Something means similar that you can eat it without a water. That means must be something good about it, and that's what I'm talking about. So what I want to tell you, and it wasn't even expensive price in a sense of how expensive it could be. It was pretty much inexpensive. How expensive it could really be. But then now it's not cheap, not even in the store anymore. If you go to a store, you're gonna spend probably even more than that if you're gonna order. Probably, unless you go to any cheaper store or something. It's not going to be cheaper, not even there, I guess. If you want the so good quality or something, it's not going to be cheaper. So that's what I'm saying. Okay, let's now finish with the food. I want to tell you, traveling, unless you can have all that as a putting these things, cars, this, that, what you, has to be. I'm not recommending you to travel. If you want to be a happy person, if you are a happy person without drugs and all this, that you can be purely living a healthy life. But in life, always going to be something. That's how life is because of others mostly, and maybe a little bit itself the way life is, this earthly life. But that you live your healthy life means best what you can to live a healthy life means to do good deeds, and good deeds reap a good fruit. And that good fruit now is going to be problem between a bad fruit, because bad fruit, they just want to steal, grab, begging, taking all the time. They have from everybody and to us nothing. And you know what I mean? And at the same time, she's, and we still live a healthy life what we can, but because of others who are just, destroying. So that's what I'm saying. If you're not an addict or something, then traveling abroad is not going to be easy, you know, unless you can pay all these things to not have problems with other people, which are not going to leave you alone. And then they're going to bring you unhealthiness onto you, all this misery they have, and it's even ethnic cleansing, not just that. Just because you are the best, so they want to hide in this, and you are on the way because they lie about things, and then people are finding out. This is why they were closing fitness clubs, just because of the lies and their abuse and lies, and people they realize, what type of them they're fooling around the world, and this is why you get it. What I'm trying to say. For example, if the house is $5,000 and they're selling $2 million, they're fooling you around. By the time you could have a land as well, and you know what I'm trying to tell you. And plus, they convince you for years. They keep lying to you into your face, and then ethnic cleansing, this, and why. So, or maybe police budget is so much. This other budget is supposed to be a real thing, but these people are making 10.2, $10.3 billion a year budget for provincial something. And then who is fooling around? The people here, and the greatest who's supposed to be the richest ever, And this is what is, so if you don't have all these things to protect, because you cannot rely on them, as you can see, what was happening is happening, they cannot stop it because you don't have the right to shoot them and to protect yourself from this, which in any country they would kill them right away. That means what better you can expect going somewhere where you are not a citizen? Then it can be even worse, not worse than to the Christ, but worse as in a sense of your rights. This is why I'm saying that it's better that you don't travel abroad until you are ready to cover all those costs, if you really want to, or in the event it should appear that you want to and prefer to travel abroad in a safe, healthy way. Because alcoholics and drunkards, this is why when you have to be separate from those people, because always something bad is happening around them or with them. That is the fact. So in this case, you're gonna have lots of humiliation, persecution, and all type of things from those type of people, especially criminals. And as criminals, they work everywhere too. They don't have to be just what you see criminals. They can just work in the government, let's say, and lots of people do. So they don't have to be just walking on the street or being any who knows what. They don't have to be cartels. But from my perspective is spend money according to the way the respect they give to others in a sense of righteousness. If you see that that's not that way, then you will say, okay, maybe they don't deserve that you keep bringing the money there. When you are as a tourist, because they can just bring in bad, right? And they just keep grabbing, but they never united, as they say. They have to be united. That means united means also fairly, you know. So if it's this way, if you see that is disrespectful, then why would you go somewhere to spend your money for their budget something they don't deserve? They didn't create things in order to deserve something. And that's exactly what I'm trying to say. But I'm not telling you this because of this reason. But that would be understandable. I'm not going to even go to the restaurants anymore. I mean, maybe once in a year, twice. This one, I don't want to even go anymore. But I'm saying how it's more about safety and how you can live the life. If you are in a healthy way, that doesn't mean you have to be totally healthy, because things are happening in life. Anything can be. But if you are living a healthy life yourself, for a healthy life, then you're going to face lots of problems in other countries abroad, and even within your own country, in your house, especially in your house and in your country. Means your house, even family, right? And that's all what I'm trying to explain. I think that you would be better off just being in your own country and travel around there until you can cover all those costs, what has to be for the normal living in this dangerous world at this point of time when it's all impoverished, all just grabbing. It's just materialism is something that didn't work for, if you understand. That's all what I'm trying to say. It's up to you what you think that is better, but I don't think I would want to travel somewhere when I travel so many times in my I don't think I would want to travel. When people would ask me whether I regret any of that, whether because I traveled somewhere, well, I don't know. I had made mistakes, even well I shouldn't say, but I have made mistakes because one is when you travel elsewhere and then when you don't know how successful you really are yet, and then you think that as those people who were having nice speeches, all type of things, especially during the Yugoslavia and all that, then you think, well, those people must be so much the same as that guy in American, Native American. He goes to Serbia. Better life in Serbia than in America. Of course, it's better life because they have many times better behavior. It's better life. But then later, if something comes out of you good, then you will see whether you're going to regret it if you ever been there. And the same for, let's say, there or in other countries if you travel, you're going to regret after. You're going to say, but I shouldn't even travel there, man. If I knew it, that's so bad. I was just thinking maybe little bit bad up and down happens. No, they have such an envy and for no cause and all this that you wouldn't believe. And that's how it is. I mean, just you for being a champion for something, they just try to damage all the time. Just they cannot take it that people are better than them, and it's just the way they are, and they bring sicknesses. And many people used to have these issues that they were bringing sicknesses to them deliberately. How evil those people actually are. I'm trying to tell you. So this is why it's up to you. What are you going to choose? For me, it doesn't matter. I'm gonna live here when the new Christ country comes up as Passion Land, which is going to be independent, normal country with the laws of God, and crimes are not going to be allowed and so on, and safety with open carry is going to be allowed, all that. And that would be with allowance, as in Australia, because you can just do that because lots of crimes. It's because of crimes, all that. So I'm just explaining you. Hopefully you get it, that it's not anymore a good time for travel. And I have seen lots of people who are saying it's amazing. But of course it's amazing. They say amazing this, and then you see alcohol, lots of alcohol. Of course it's amazing for you. You don't even know what are you doing. I mean, you are in addiction, in a lifestyle that is addictive and miserable actually after you stop drinking. And even within drinking, probably you don't even see yourself. And this is why for you it's all nice and nice people. But when you are normal, and when you travel within them or being around those, what Jesus tries to tell you to be separate from them, for that reason, otherwise they're going to even involve you in something that you are not guilty because of, that's an excuse from the police side, but still, it's still even for you yourself because of your health, your integrity, your well-being, your success. It's better to be away from those people. And that's exactly what happens. So for the addicts, it's good everywhere. And they destroy everything, and plus it's good everywhere for them, and they take care about them 10 times to 200 times better for them. For these other people, they don't care at all, people who don't do bad things. They even owe them lots of money and all kind of things. So, I mean, here, And that's what it is about. That's all for today. I said what I had to say. I had to read lots of instructions and all that. A little bit, I knew all that, you know. But that one to keep your out of that one you don't have even to say it. Why? Because it's automatically if you touch it, you're going to fail. And is it a concept? You see primitivism, what that means. That's one of those issues, what I'm trying to say. I'm not saying in life people were learning lots of things and they were having those issues or not, or how to improve themselves, how to understand what is wrong or not. And this is exactly what they bring, all the bad, and they don't want to even educate themselves to learn those basic things about this country in order to live here. Then you say, why is all destroyed? And on the end, if we be biblical the way it's supposed to be, that's supposed to be just because of that, what they are doing to others, those who do good deeds. This is why it's up to you to accept it or not. But this is going to take you to the eternal happiness, success, and all that. And a good life, such as honesty, when you can release yourself from the sin, means if you can be away from the corrupt company or something, you can be already in a better position. In most cases, in a worse position, but in a better position as being more faithful to the Lord, having belief or believe in someone, believe in someone, faith, right? But that's all for today. Next time more. I just had to prepare you a little bit that you know what the world is like. And today is not the same as before, probably because of the bigger successes, or maybe because of one part of it. One part of it is maybe 20 to 30% of that is because of their misery and because they came and then they would do anything to return to Egypt, but they can't now. They could have a nice milk from a camel, and now they don't have even that one unless they are with dipping in a dish. That's what I'm saying. So good luck. Accept this word today and understand that times change and you have to be ready on all that because with these people you just can't leave. This is why new Christ country has to come, which makes a great country, not a den of thieves. A den of thieves. Is that what they created? And it's supposed to be a house of prayer. This is why I do understand people who come even from the Muslim countries. They come here and sometimes maybe they could be more faithful to the Christianity than many other people around. Just you maybe don't understand, maybe. But lots of people come and do these addiction things. And for them, everything looks okay because they're laughing to each other. They don't even know what they're laughing for. They're ripping off the people's schemes, who knows what. And they don't even understand the people that are all involved with it. Otherwise, they wouldn't get away with it. For these things, everywhere it gets very serious. And that's what it is about. And this is why, as well, I have to give you a warning if you want to, let's say, date somebody or something, maybe somewhere. I'm not sure whether that's the best idea for you, but if you maybe it's better just like this, that it can be more professional, that you don't have to owe to someone something, because all of the people, they always expect something that you owe them, whether if you date them or maybe if you're friends or who knows what. These days you have to be careful whether for dating and marriages, they have to be from your own equally yoked and all this. If it's not, They are bringing problems, you know. You don't want that any misery person brings a misery onto you, you know. So you have to be a little bit careful about the people that way. So times have changed, you know. They are just material, you know. That's it what it is. Material and the envy, and uh, they just want something to be what you are, what they can never be, because this goes with the greatest hard work. It's not like them sitting waiting for the sunshine, and you know, this was before when people used to work for 10 people at once and had all the best championship results and all great inventions. What about, you know, those people are living a lazy life. They don't see themselves in real life. So that's what it is. This is why they're damaging those military results, which are so much better than them. And they never been like as that way. And this is why they keep damaging something even more. They come and they do those things just because of that as well. Not just that is the reason why they're doing. And these other things you understand business how they brainwash the people, but branches are branches. That is the point. So all the best for you. My advice, if you want to accept it, is that you don't use any medication unless if you have to use anything, but otherwise no, and no drugs, no alcohol, no cigarettes as well. This can bring you a better life, you know, much better. Maybe it's going to be difficult because or you are going to lose friends which maybe they were friends, maybe not, you know, because but it's better to be even alone than with those things because those things really affect your life. And also being around those all the time who do this is going to affect your life. So this is the best to get rid of those bad habits for your life in the future and for your success. We all know that right, they destroy, you know, they never have. We know these things. I mean, you can get it. Even one Vietnamese said, right, the way it really is that way. And that's true. That's how it is. It's much worse than that. But that's the reality of the truth, you know. They want to have branches, those people who are brainwashing you, but not those who made all created and maker and you know. That's all. Inventing and so on. So all the best for now. Have a good time. I would prefer myself rather to buy from the store, and I would rather go somewhere by the lake and somewhere eat as a picnic and have a good time. This is how I learned now how to enjoy myself better. I really don't want to even go to the restaurants, to be honest, from my perspective. I really don't want to even go there. I prefer more. I started to buy from the stores more, and I didn't want to, even for the new year, I didn't want to go there for to a restaurant. Probably I would go if I would knew that it's so nice this type of thing. But I'm kind of type of I see happiness more when you buy from the store and make your own. Seriously, I do. Most of those foods are free actually. Just the people are robbing you to the stores from the. You understand that is all free actually. But if you have a good freezer 4 times a year, you can get 100 kilos per 400 kilos of fish for free. But you have to put the sheets, maybe you take bed sheets, you put stones around there where the water goes as a falls, little bit small falls, very tiny small falls, and there the fish can come and if you are lucky maybe as well. Lots of fish can come there, so you take like this 100 kilos per 4 times a year, and you have enough. If you have a freezer, you have lots of fish. But you need lots of other things which are free as well. But because of these rubbers, that's how it is, right? And that's what I'm saying. The best is for those who live somewhere where they have any land that comes to them, everything, so you don't have to worry so much. It it put your life in danger, so you have the right to you get it, and then you yeah well, and then the fruit is there all the time. One time you could do that, you can have eggs if you put corn. Hopefully, it's always warm, and then you know, then you can have eggs too a little bit, and that's veggies too. Fruits mixed up, and milk maybe you catch something there and you hold, and then you don't even have to have cows. If you can hold it, you can take free even that. You can live okay, but there's certain things if you don't have, they're gonna take advantage, and it's gonna cost you more than basic thing that one, and stealing from your fridge than that one. But here you could have it all free, but like this, it's gonna be this way. So that's what it is. Okay, good luck. See you next time.